We're back at the Smallest Cog and we've got another YouTuber on his way here to get his car looked at. He's a favourite on the channel and a good friend of mine, and I think I can hear his straight six engine coming just around the corner. Our next guest at the Cog is Jimmy Broadbent, and for those of you who may not have seen his videos, Jimmy started off as a sim racing YouTuber and has recently branched out into real life racing as well as Japanese performance car content. We've seen his Skyline and Impreza on the channel before, so today it's all about his Mk4 Supra. Jimmy, great to have you back on the channel. You're world famous for having lived in a shed. Have you bought the shediest Supra out there?
I think so. I think I was missing home a little bit, so I thought, well, what if I could drive my home around? So yeah, this is the cheapest Supra I could find, and It looks like it as well.
Well, it's an iconic shape, but we're going to give it the full Cog treatment, give you a Cog score. There's a Mr. Hammond upstairs, so if I could have the keys.
I suppose so.
And good luck with Richard.
Enjoy it, mate.
Jimmy.
Hello, hello.
You all right? Nice to see you.
Good to be here.
Which is like a formal handshake.
Yeah, there you go. That's nice.
Nice to see you. Welcome to our humble abode. Welcome to DRIVETRIBE, nestled here at the Smallest Cog. It's really nice to see you, and I'm really glad you've come along. But at the same time, I don't want to be rude. I'm kind of not.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, you're a great friend of DRIVETRIBE. I know you're a familiar face. But, Jimmy, I'm trying to work out how to say this. I don't understand you and your entire life. But I don't, because if you think about it, your story is, I'm what, 20 years older than you, that's all. But in those 20 years, the entire world has changed. Everything about you, your career, aspirations, the car you've arrived in today, I predate all of it. So just, I mean, everybody does know Jimmy's story, but just in case anybody doesn't. So you started sim games, that's what that...
Yeah, so basically I started on a simulator when I was, how old was I? I was about 20 when I started, just doing sim racing. Like, just bought myself a little wheel, a little pedal set, and just went from there. And I actually worked as an insurance salesman at the time, so it was like my entire salary went on that.
So working as an insurance salesman,
yeah.
I'm guessing pretty boring.
It was pretty soul destroying.
Right. And so 20 years ago, you come home from your work as an insurance salesman.
Not like 20 years ago, come on.
Thrilled, stimulated and fulfilled. And is this parents' house you're going home to?
Yeah, so I lived at home at the time because I was between, just before I went off to university. So I thought I'd do it here and
also, I do understand it's not entirely cheap to establish yourself living in your own house these days.
No, it really isn't.
Ruinous. No, it's impossible.
Yeah, I'm in debt for life now. But
yeah, you finished. So you'd go home to your parents' house and then...
So, and basically just, I thought, oh, you know what, this is really interesting to me, driving this fake car on this fake circuit. My friends are going to want to see that, and I'm sure everyone's going to be very interested in it, so I made a video about it, popped it on YouTube, and no one watched it, because obviously, who the hell is this guy making videos about fake race cars doing fake things?
And this was, nobody was doing this at that point, and this is early days of that idea that anybody would, why would you watch somebody do that?
Well, people kind of were, but like, there wasn't really, they were doing what I was doing, it was just throwing footage up and going, am I a YouTuber now? And that's pretty much what I did for a very long time. Then you sort of fast forward a few years, I'd been doing it for a while, and I started to learn how to do commentary at the same time, because no one likes watching a car going around. Well, actually I do, but I'm a bit weird like that. But no one likes watching a car go around with no one talking about it, no one engaging in. So I tried to do stuff like that, and it just sort of built and built and built.
Anthony, Mk4 Supra, where'd you stand on these?
That's iconic, isn't it? Everybody absolutely loves a Supra. So looking at this now, I do get excited. It goes back to like Fast and Furious. I think that's when they started getting very like iconic and... Well, not be funny, if you say to you Supra, what do you think of?
One of these.
It's that, isn't it?
So it's a 1994, so same age as me, and it's looking a little worse for wear. So I think we're going to go around it, do the usual
and
tour. See what comes out. So let's start with bodywork.
Bodywork.
Let's start with this rear wing.
Looks like it's been in a hailstorm or something.
What is this? Is this?
That's just lacquer.
Just sun damage.
That's sun damage, yeah. That's purely sun damage. Wow. I reckon it's been sat outside for a while, I'd say.
And then this wing creates so much downforce that it started to crack.
Here it's flexing
along it.
Yeah.
That must be what, 1,000 kilos of downforce on that. And then there's definitely a bit of a
that's been repaired there, isn't it? Yeah. I like the blow in. That's lovely.
Yeah.
Done a nice job.
Is that newspaper and then?
That's proper newspaper job. That is on the driveway. Because you can see where it's rust under there. Look. And I think that's what they tried to get rid of. and done a very poor job.
That is... Oh, what is that? How has that happened?
Somewhat high that is. It's been dropped, hit it, cracked the paint, and then it's caused it to rustle.
An anvil has fallen from the sky and hit these mirrors. How is that possible? Again, is that just sun?
That's sun and probably stone chips. So when you've been following, probably stones have come up, chipped it, and then the sun's just died it, lacquer's come off, paint's come off.
But I mean,
that's quite impressive.
That's not just stone chipping, that's like a stone gun, like a gravel gun.
Gravel
that's been fired at.
It looks like it's fallen off, been dragged down the road and then put back on, to be fair. Nice, look at that, for a dent in the door.
Oh wow, yes. Once the light gets in there,
that is nasty.
That's crumpled.
That's nasty.
I don't want to be too negative. Are there any good bits on this bodywork? His water jets look quite clean. They look, you know, nice and shiny.
Actually, yeah, I think that's probably, that is the only bit on it so far.
Your dad would go to town on these.
He'd love that. If he had half hour on them, they'd look brand new.
Maybe afterwards we should just get Neil on them.
Get Dad on them, give him a buff up.
It looks like it has been tracked a fair amount. I reckon this is like gravel trap stuff.
The grill's hanging.
Oh yeah. Is that zip tied?
I probably was at one.
No,
it is. It's zip tied. Famous zip ties. I'll tell you what, I haven't seen a car this bad for paintwork in a long time. Wipers all faded, paint.
Now, I think this could be the worst bit. Now, Jimmy has explained this, because I did ask him when he came in. The old man that used to own this car used to put his shopping on the roof. Oh. So this is so he's sheer shopping aberration.
He goes shopping a lot then.
Also, what was he shopping for?
I don't know.
Sandpaper.
So I was going to say, it looks like sandpaper
Was he
to me.
a sandpaper salesman? That's not bottles of juice.
That's not good. Nasty scratch all the way up the side.
Oh yeah. That's a Skyline owner that's done that. That is a
That's jealousy.
That guy owned an R32 Skyline and thought, that Supra's a bag of shit.
Like, I'll be honest with you, there's not one good panel on this car. I can't find one good panel.
I guess that means it's matching in some weird, crappy way. Again, the Skyline owner came back for seconds.
He came back to say,
that.
That's nasty. Oh, I can see how bad that is now.
Or is that maybe is that looks like to me a 300ZX key, that one.
Yeah, that's proper hatred, because that's proper deep.
Oof. I don't think it's going to score too high on bodywork, so
be honest, no.
We'll come back to the score.
Yeah, definitely, that's not going to be a high one.
Let's move on to mechanicals.
Yeah.
So, for anybody my age, you're coming home from your big grown-up proper job and then you're playing a computer game, let's be quite honest.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the long and short of it. You know, you can try and put it a different way, but it is still a game.
And then you get sufficient people interested in this, so it goes beyond your mates. Your mates saying, hey, no, there's Jimmy, he's doing well. Like, watching him play a computer game.
They didn't watch anyway, to be honest.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Your mates never do. No, none of my mates watch anything I do, just as well. And then eventually that became a living?
Yeah, so this is when I started to realise that the money that I was making from sort of ad revenue and stuff like that was starting to become that of like a part-time job. And I was like, okay, cool, this is actually something to do. And then that just sort of builds and builds and builds to the point where, okay, this is now earning me more than I used to earn when I worked as an insurance salesman, which to be honest isn't that hard anyway. But it was, that moment was a real realisation that, hey, there's a career in this if I sort of play my cards right and keep it going. It was very hard to explain to my mother what I was doing. She's like, well, I just hear you shouting down there.
It's not proper,
are you all right?
It is not a proper job.
Yeah, I get that a lot. Like what you do is not. No, it's not a real job.
So this is the shed stage. We're now into the shed era.
Yeah, we're there now. So.
Okay, there it is. Now it gets big, and now you eventually grow to like 300,000 plus followers. That's a lot. I saw a video of us talking to you before on DRIVETRIBE. So at that point, that's like a weighty enterprise by then.
Yeah, that was when Mike came down to look at the skyline, actually. So I love that video because, one, it did unexpectedly well. I would think people would be interested in hearing sort of the story. And two, it's nice to show off the car. I always like showing off the cars, you know. But that was a bit of a turning point.
You managed to turn hobby into job. Well done you. Good. It then steps back into like the analogue real world that I move around in two ways. Number one, you turned it into, you're actually racing for real now. Not for real, I don't know, should I say for real?
No, I say that.
Do you?
The term that I've heard is full metal racing. compared to virtual racing.
I think I might be a bit sick.
It's fine, right?
Is that what they say?
So that's
you're going full metal racing. That's just, oh no, that's grubby and oily and horrid. Really?
well, that's what Heidi says.
Right. You're not saying that, are you?
No, I said real racing.
Okay. I mean, what you do is real because, well, put it this way, you are competing for real and you're earning a living from it. That's pretty damn real, if you ask me. But you are actually racing in the analog world as well.
So yeah, I race in a couple of series at the moment. I race first of all in the Praga Cup, which is a little sort of LMP3 style prototype, which is an insane car. It's basically my first race car that I jumped into.
I remember reading about them because they were, right from the outset, they were saying they were going to do this, take sim races and put them in real cars. Was there a lot of crashing to start with?
For me, I've never had a crash yet. I've spun.
What the hell? There's nothing with it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, I'm still waiting for the. Well, I've had a pretty eventful spin. There's a video of me at Donington spinning at 140 mile an hour, which was that woke you up a little bit. When you stopped.
Just a beginner's crash.
Yeah, normal crash. But apart from that, I think that the spatial awareness that comes from sim racing has passed over fairly well. So I'm always aware when there's a guy about to swipe me and sort of turn out of it and avoid it. So, but that's going all right. We won our last two races. Technically, it's only one, but we won 2 on the road.
Okay, how's she looking underneath?
Well, it's nice to see the original belly pan on it. That's nice because they normally go missing and ripped off.
It does look 28 years old.
It looks its age, and it's showing its age, I think. But look at it, it's only surface rust, look.
Yeah.
It's all,
that could all
nice
buzz
stuff.
off.
Nice
That's on the way out.
cable sat on the exhaust. That's not helping.
What do you reckon that's for?
It looks like a lambda probe, doesn't it?
You have just further unpicked that as well.
Yes, I know. That's sat on the exhaust, so that one's tying up out.
This looks quite moist.
It's quite rare for a Jap car to be leaking oil.
I think I've seen in one of Jimmy's videos, I think it is rocker cover, but it's just making its way down.
Yeah. That's nothing to worry about, it's an easy fix.
Yeah, not too bad. Okay.
To be honest, yeah, I'm quite impressed.
It's,
for the age of it, and considering what it's like on the outside.
Just natural corrosion, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really?
If you look at the sills, they're not bad at all. It's all pretty solid.
again,
To get
mostly
towards the back
surface,
is a bit
isn't it?
getting
Yes.
close at the back there.
Wee bit crispy.
Yeah.
But you'd hope that's just surface, but you know, there could be a couple
Yeah, you don't want to
holes
go
in
tapping it too much. But it looks like the exhaust has been routed a totally different way to standard. It looks like it should have come
Yeah,
this way.
Good spot.
So that's been
What
changed.
really stands out? Look at these gold coilovers, HKS.
They are lovely, proper.
They're top
high.
notch. This is, you know, people refer to a cannon. This would fit into the medieval era when you're laying siege to a city.
A city on a side of a boat.
You could take down the city walls of
That's-
something with that.
That's pretty horrendous.
Okay, shall we have a look under the bonnet?
Yeah. Quite impressed though. Yeah. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be looking at the top side of it.
Okay, Anthony, first things first, no turbo.
I was looking for a turbo. I was like, where's the turbo? Because I'm not being
Yes.
funny, if you have a Supra, can I have a turbo?
Well,
In my eyes.
it is still 3 litre, 2JZ.
Yeah.
But it's sort of 210, 220 horsepower, I think.
I know, but
NA.
I'm not being funny. When you have a Supra, you've got to have the turbo.
Knowing Jimmy, I'm sure this will sprout a turbo.
They will
at
sprout a
some
turbo.
point.
That's good news because you can't just have a normally aspirated. As much as I love normally aspirated cars,
Yeah.
a Supra has got to have a turbo.
Well, let's take it as it is.
Yeah.
Keep on with our mechanical scoring.
Yeah.
What do you reckon about under this bonnet?
Good old K&N.
Yeah.
Got to have one of them. Yeah, again, it's dry. Yeah, you got a bit of seepage around the back where you got the rock cover going, but it's not really.
The HKS look nice, sticking out.
Oh,
top
the
there.
gold looks lovely, doesn't it? To be
Wee
fair.
bit of,
Yeah, a nice bit of tape
know,
on there for
yeah.
something.
that's a bit
Yeah.
chunky.
Last owner's been bodging a
But
little bit.
again, 28-year-old car, this is not the end of the world, really, is it?
I've seen a lot newer cars look a lot worse.
Yeah.
Trust me. No, good car, nice engine. I just want to hear it.
Well, good point. Jimmy's giving me the keys. Let's start her up.
Start her up and see.
And move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Sound.
So there's a moment in your life I'm really interested in, which is you've turned your sim racing into a career. You built, it's a business. I mean, it's a career. You've built that out of it. You get the offer to go and drive in the analog world, all of which means it's leading to a moment when, for the first time, you're buckled into a race car and you're not in your shed anymore. And when you hit the loud one, it and you are going to move very rapidly in that direction. How did that feel?
I remember this like really well. It's one of those flashbulb memories because obviously it's that was a dream to be sitting there, to have all these people buzzing around you and strapping you when you think, oh, bloody hell, this is actually going to happen, isn't it? Like, I've got to go out there and do it now. And I remember hitting the button at the start and the car coming alive and like this, like the fire and the vibration through it as it started like breathing its sort of first breaths. And thinking to myself, I've got to go out there and I've got to put the throttle all the way to the floor. If I don't do that, I'm never going to be able to survive this. So it was at Anglesey. Anglesey doesn't really have a straight, it's more of just a weird curve on the back of it. And I went out the back of it and went, right, floor it. And I remember thinking, well, I can't really say what I was thinking. It was more, oh dear, oh my, oh no. And then at the end of it, I was like, oh, okay. I know now what that feels like.
So up until that moment, what was your driving career?
Up until that moment, I think I had driven one race in Mk4s.
So you were like just an ordinary driver really, in terms of the analog world?
Yeah, I mean, at the time as well, it was sort of before I lost a bit of weight to get in the car as well. So here comes a sort of like quite round gamer getting into a race car. And all these thin racing drivers being like, do this, do that, be careful of that, do that.
Well, you do raise a rather good point there, because the world of sitting in race cars in the analog world versus in front of your fancy gaming machine, it's a bit more physical.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, one of the main things for me, of course, is neck, because these Pragas can pull up around 3G in some corners.
You'll feel that.
And when you have no neck training, I mean, you've driven some pretty fast stuff.
Yeah, usually upside down, it doesn't count. It's different.
Well, when you were staying on your tyres, you know,
yeah.
I mean, your neck gives up fairly quickly. For me, I drove Silverstone. It was our first circuit we raced at. And I remember going through the Vale corner, the one on the, just before you come onto the last straight. And at the end of the race, my neck went up onto the headrest. I couldn't keep it up anymore. And there's a big mark on my lid where it's been scuffed where I couldn't keep my head up anymore.
I'm guessing you know every track.
That was an advantage.
Don't say it with that smile on your face. It's a monumental advantage.
I mean, so I mentioned Anglesey earlier. Like, no one goes there for any reason other than test, really. So I had no idea what it looked like, and I downloaded the version of the simulator, ran it for 2 hours, got there. Yeah, I know where it goes.
Is your experience on track now informing your experience in sim? Are you able to see things? Do they carry things like camber that you can't really read on a 2D screen into the game?
Yeah, it's all there, but you have to sort of know it's there.
So has it made you a better sim racer?
Yeah, I'd say it has. For 2 reasons really. One, like I said there, the camber, because Alton Park is a great example. Every corner's like this, but you don't know it is until you actually go and walk around it. And then also being a bit more like decisive in what you're doing, because in real racing, if you sort of hover around somebody, they're not going to see you. You can have a crash. It's all horrible. People hate you. Do that in sim racing as well. If you just lunge people and let people know you're there, they're going to get out of your way. That's what you've got to do. Be more aggressive and just put the car in places.
So both types of racing are informing each other. Each one helps the other one.
Yeah, I think they go hand in hand now.
I'm sort of getting there, mate. It's still like a hold.
Have you tried any sim racing before?
Yeah.
Yeah?
We don't need to talk about it.
No?
Fine. Yeah. It's a bit like, to be honest, I once tried driving an F1 car. And on the drive there, I was thinking, I reckon they might spot something a bit special here.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
A bit disappointed there. There's no there. I'll be honest with you, Mike.
What do you reckon?
It's okay, but it's missing that turbo pop in it.
Yeah, it's got some
It's
intake
throaty.
going.
Yeah, it's got intake, but it's so loud. It's a weird, like, it's too loud.
There we go.
Do you get me?
It doesn't sound bad.
It's not bad, but for me, that exhaust needs to be a bit smaller. And make it sound all raspy.
You're also just waiting for it.
You just went, and there's not. And it's like, it's nice, but it's missing that element of that little, how's it go? That's it. That's all it's missing.
It's almost like a horse, isn't it?
That's it. That's all it's missing. It just wants that extra little bit.
Right, okay. Let's head on to interior. There is something about 1990s, early 2000s interiors, aren't there?
Yeah, the old Toyota dash. It's like when my dad used to have an MR2. It's just, they all look the same. It's all the same type of material, but
it's a proper cockpit as well.
Yeah, to this side, I can't see hardly anything. It's all faced towards you, so it's all made for the driver.
Steering wheel, I mean, it's obviously not standard, but it kind of suits the vibe of the car.
At the moment, yeah.
It's good that it's a manual, and you know, it's tatty.
But I'll be honest, that's a big thing for a Supra, because a lot of them are autos.
Horrid big autos.
No, horrible.
Absolutely.
But no, roof lining's good.
Yeah.
Seats are in good nick. Just want a good clean.
I forget that a Supra's a 2+2 as well, so you can get very small children in the back.
Yeah, very small.
But
in general, it's in good nick.
There is one thing, Anthony.
What?
That's a doorbell.
What the hell is even that?
That's someone's doorbell.
I don't know. Press that and tell me what that is. You don't need to tell me. It's the horn.
Do you reckon the previous owner actually went to his own house and took his doorbell off?
Do you know what? It kind of fits, because you've got a sort of black plastic square
I love that.
doorbell.
That's got
Does the actual horn work? No.
No.
So it is, right, okay, I see what they've done there.
That is a top feature, I love that.
You like that?
That's funny, innit?
I don't know whether it's the worst or the best bit of the car. I guess it's kind of both, isn't it?
Yeah, it's colour coded as well.
Yes, exactly, that's what I'm saying, it kind of fits.
It's mad.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, it's probably the best part of the car so far.
I think the inside shows the mileage better than the outside.
Sure.
So it's got low mileage. I think the inside has shown a way better example of.
Yeah. What did Jimmy say? Like 50,000 miles?
53,000 miles. I think it's done.
Wow. Barely run in.
That's what I mean. So the inside actually shows it's done 53, but the outside is saying it's done 153.
Well, I think in general it's going to score pretty well in here.
Yeah.
The final thing is straight up coolness. So let's get this outside and have a look.
Yeah, I reckon to get outside we'll have a chat about that.
So the other thing I don't understand about your life, because I mean it when I don't understand, I don't know how you be Jimmy Broadbent, because I don't get your whole world.
Constant pain.
Is the actual cars, because you have now started collecting, because your work's making you wealthy. And you started collecting, and you like a Japanese car, don't you?
Yeah, so like a lot of people from my, I guess, generation, just grew up with Gran Turismo and sort of Gran Turismo 1, GT2. I played the absolute hell out of those games. And I sort of fell in love with all those 90s JGM icons, you know. So one of the cars, of course, here today, the Supra, which is
that's what startled me. You rocked up in it, and I don't want to be rude about another man's car, but my God, it's a shed, isn't it?
It is a shed.
And you rolled up in that, and it's a familiar car to me. I remember them when they were new. I remember driving them, testing them. I think I made a film on them on Men and Motors in the old days. Probably I will have done. But they were nice, but they didn't stir me. And yet, as you pulled up in that, all the lads from HMS Engineering next door, who never come out to look at anything, and we rock up here with all, as you can imagine, all sorts of cars. Not bothered. They were all out, we saw them, they came chatting to you, they're all lined up. They're desperate to see it. So it obviously stirs something. I'm trying to analyse what that is, because it provoked the same reaction in them, and I suspect in you, as would for me an 80s 911. Somebody came in a mid-80s 911 turbo, I'd be like, ooh, and you go,
I want to touch it.
Yeah, exactly right.
It's one of those cars, I think iconic it sounds a little bit too over the top, but everyone knows what Supra is when you see it.
I think sometimes with a car like that, it's not even exclusively about the engineering and the performance. It is inevitably about the connection and about when it really moved your world, when it was a thing of such incomparable expense and aspiration, and that's the thing.
Yeah, I think so. You know, I mean, if you like terrible interior and plastic and, you know, cars that they call old Japanese cars are pretty much where you want to be.
Yeah.
For me, the rule I sort of said to myself is, do you look back at it in a car park And like with that, every time I'm like,
Yeah.
there it is. Like,
How do you feel when you walk back? Have you paid for your fuel and you're walking back to it? Ooh, that's mine.
because 9 times out of 10, someone will be like, "Is this yours?" And they want to talk to you about
Yeah.
it. Either that or embarrassment because of how it looks. But,
Well, you see, but let's come round to your car today. You've been collecting some. I mean, you got some proper. Just skip through. Don't list them all because it's just annoying. I had to sell all mine to buy this.
Oh yeah, I saw that video. Very sorry.
So you've. I mean, the highlights of your.
So it'll be the R32 GTR, the Skyline. Love that thing.
It's a hero car.
There's a GC8 Impreza because I love an Impreza.
That's the law.
In a yob in me, I need to
You
make
actually have
noise.
to. It is legally you're bound to.
2 MX-5s. One is on bodies, NA, makes about 180 horsepower, which is really nice, sounds cool.
Yeah.
The other is a Time Attack Beast, which has an SR20 and makes about 600 horsepower.
Stupid. Silly car.
What else is there? GR Yaris.
So look, the thing about all of these are
Japanese,
they're all fine and pristine examples. They are proper. They're showstoppers.
Yeah, mostly.
So why did you buy a shit one?
Well, 2 reasons. One, because I'm tight, and a pristine, nice one is about 40 grand.
God, is it now?
Yeah, for a twin turbo Supra. I mean, and this is not a nice one.
It isn't, is it?
It's what I like to call used.
Ruined,
Ruined,
worn out,
yeah.
Exhausted, flogged. It's a dead horse.
It still works. It came here under its own power.
I noticed you drove in.
Yeah.
Well done.
I actually had to get it towed just there.
Yeah, push it the last bit.
Okay, final category, Anthony. Straight up coolness.
Coolness.
Now, let's be plain. It's a Mk4 Supra.
And they're cool.
That
I'm
is
not-
pretty high up
Exactly,
there.
yeah. If you see one of these, you smile. So,
I think the main decision with this car is, does its scabbiness make it cooler or does it hamper it? Because so many of these are mint, like,
Mint, yeah, yeah.
show cars.
Yeah, show cars, yeah.
So does this make it cooler?
it's more original.
It's tough.
It is very tough. What are you thinking on that one?
Well, I know something that will help the decision, somehow making this car even cooler. Give me 2 seconds.
The old-fashioned.
Come around the back.
Tell
me that wing with that exhaust
and that aerial.
and that aerial isn't just the coolest
That's pretty
shape
cool.
in the automotive world.
I'm loving that. So what are we thinking?
It's a tough one. Well, actually, let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Let's score this car.
Let's do this.
Okay, let's start with bodywork. I'll hand this one over to you. You're the specialist.
It's pretty poor.
Out of 10,
Yeah. Personally, 2. It's got to be one of the worst I've seen.
it's got to be down there. Yeah, I mean,
It's pretty bad.
if 1 is the worst car possible in terms of bodywork and
This is
10 is
this-
concourse,
This is next in line.
okay, so a 2 for bodywork.
Bodywork's pretty bad.
That's not a great start.
No.
Okay, but on to mechanicals.
Good.
I'm
Not bad
going
at
to
all.
give this car a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I think that's
You know, it's just,
Fine.
it's solid.
it's like a few scabby bits of rust here and there, but it's for the age of the car, it's great.
Yeah, could be better, could be worse.
Yeah.
Okay, now on to sound. The non-turbo 2JZ. You were at the back.
Yeah, you know
tell
me, I love a normally aspirated engine,
Yeah.
but with a Supra, it's illegal not to have a turbo. So I'm going to give it, I was a bit disappointed, I'll give it a 5.
Okay, so 5 out of 10. Okay, I think it's a wee bit harsh, but I'll give you it.
You reckon?
On to the interior. I think the best bit of the car.
That is the best bit.
It was really solid. You know, take or leave the doorbell. It's either the best thing or the worst
Yeah,
thing.
problem is I think, could it add points for the doorbell? I love that.
You want to add points?
I
Okay.
love the feature.
I'll give you that. That makes it, I imagine, one of one in the
Well,
world.
how many cars have you seen with doorbell?
Exactly. Unique. This thing's now worth 100 grand because of that.
Exactly.
Okay, so interior, shall we say 8?
I reckon 8, because it represents the mileage of the car, and it's mint, to be fair. So I'll go with 8.
Okay, and then the straight up coolness. I think it's quite high up there.
That's added to the coolness.
I mean, this is just,
That's-
yeah. So I'm willing, if you're happy, to match the interior and say 8 out of 10.
8, yep.
It's a Mk4 Supra.
Exactly, yeah. It's a Supra.
Okay.
We all put a smile on your face.
Now, we did change one of those scores.
We did.
So I now need to redo the maths. So it was 2, which is 7, plus 5, which is 20, plus 8, which is 12. So, after some quick maths, Jimmy Broadbent's Mk4 Supra gets a Cog score of 28 out of 50. That, in my world, back at school, was a C+. So it's a pass.
It's a pass. He's got to be happy with that.
And to be honest, it's a great platform for a project.
This is the best project car you could have because it's not rotten, it's not hanging to pieces. Paint job would change this car massively.
What could be cool is we get this back to the Cog after Jimmy's finished doing all the project stuff.
Go through it again.
Yeah, increase the score.
And the only thing I want though, if Jimmy is a turbo, it's got to have a turbo.
Absolutely. Well, we've given it the Cog score. Let's break it to Jimmy.
Yeah, I'll leave that to you then.
So, how was your chat with Richard? Go well?
Yeah, pretty good, I think. It was interesting teaching an old man about sim racing, but he seemed to get it eventually.
Well, would you like to know your Supra's Cog score?
If it is above single digits, I think that it's a massive success.
Come on, singled out of 50?
Yeah, have you not seen this thing?
Yeah, I mean, I will say, BODYWORK was 2 out of 10. So that means it's not the worst, but it's pretty effing bad.
I mean, it's all right. I mean, the way I see it is adaptive weight saving. That's paint I want carrying around the circuit, so it's quick.
Okay, I'll rip off the Band-Aid. Your Mk4 Supra got a Cog score of 28 out of 50.
Yo!
So that's
all right.
That's a pass. I'll go through the scores. So as I say, 2 out of 10 for BODYWORK.
Okay.
5 out of 10 for mechanicals, because I mean, just 28 years old.
It works.
A wee bit battered. 5 out of 10 for sound, because no turbo.
But the cannon.
I mean, that's just, I've never seen an exhaust that size. But then the car recovered. 8 out of 10 for interior, I think you'll agree. There's something about Japanese plastics. It's all plastic, but it's just, there's a bit of quality in there.
I think the thing is, it's only got 53,000 miles on, right? So that's the bit that's retained it, the rest not so much.
And of course, the doorbell makes it a truly unique Toyota Supra.
It was 4 out of 10 before that.
Twin turbo, single turbo, doesn't matter.
Doorbell.
Go on, freaking doorbell. And then coolness, we agreed 8 out of 10 because it's a Mk4 Supra, isn't it?
I think it doesn't matter how scuffed it is, still a Supra.
So, it is technically the worst Cog score we've ever had, but that is out of 2. So, I wouldn't feel too disheartened.
Okay. Well, my goal was to come here and get the worst score, so I've achieved that, and I'm happy.
Mission accomplished. Tell us, what are your plans now with this car? What's the next step?
So really kind of slowly build it up, I suppose. This is meant to be like a track/fast road car, so probably gonna look at reinforcing it a bit, cleaning up some of the underside, replacing anything that's sort of perished, you know, any bushing, stuff like that. Make it mechanically a 10, and then work on everything else from there.
Okay, so we could have a shared track day in the future where you're in this and I'm in, I don't know what. Maybe the Hellcat.
And you'll be panicking with this new mirrors as I'm mashing the doorbell.
Absolutely. Well, anyway, here's your keys back. Thank you for bringing it to the Cog. Enjoy the drive home, and maybe we'll see this back here when it's shiny and finished.
Fingers crossed.
Cool. Cheers, Jimmy.
Thank you.
So this was our second go at one of these videos, doing a proper Cog score on a YouTuber's car. But I would like to hear from you guys whether you like this setup, and if so, who we should have to the Cog for a future video. Which YouTuber or influencer or someone within the car space should we get to the Cog and have a once-over on their car? Tell us in the comments below. I've been Mike, and don't forget to subscribe to DRIVETRIBE.